Hi there, I'm Emily Schaller, and you're watching the Roxy F. Boltcast. Before we get started, there's a few things we need to go over. First off, nothing on this podcast should be considered medical advice. Medical advice should only come from your doctor. Views expressed on this podcast are solely opinions of the guest and not necessarily opinions of myself or the Roxy F. Foundation. Enjoy this episode of the Roxy F. Boltcast. This episode of the Roxy F. Boltcast is sponsored by Vertex.
Was it after the modulator when you realized like you wanted to do more, you wanted to help the community and get out of your, okay, all right.
So I started my modulator in January of 2020. So I had a purge. I felt incredible. My lung function went up 40 points over the course of like 7 months. I felt great. But as I went to celebrate in the only place I could, which was like the metaverse, I would go on to chat groups or Facebook or Reddit, and I would say like, how awesome is this? Let's go see what everybody else is doing. And it was met with something a lot darker. It was either the 10% that were like, well, I'm going to die and never have this available to me. And I'm so happy everyone is doing well and they're so grateful for it. But like, now I feel even worse. And that put me in a much darker place because I was finally ready to celebrate and I realized there's no celebrating. There are people waiting for help and it's not coming. Maybe it is coming one day, but it's not coming today. So that was tough in 2020. And that's when I started to realize like, oh no, people are suffering. And up until then, I had never been in chat groups. I tried to stay away from them because I was told to. So I was 26.
Let's run that math. 2020.
I was 36. Leave me alone. I was 30. You look at the math or mathing. I was 36, all right? I was 36 years old in 2020, and up until then, I had not been into any real chat groups. So I started focusing in, and I got demons in me, and I just wouldn't stop at that point, and I just kept finding pain in these like little pockets of happiness and joy. It would just be matched with two more in pain, where it was either I'm on this modulator and now what the hell am I gonna do? We had someone reach out in the beginning of this and it was like, I'm in a marriage because I could get more Social Security as like a codependent, and now I don't need it, and I'm in a very miserable relationship, and now I have to think about these things, and you start seeing like the real world, and that's the dark side of it that people don't see because we're all celebrating the happy part.
For me, I was on the first modulator, right? So I went 8 years, 7, 8, let's not do math today, but 7 to 8 years with 95% of the community having nothing, right? So I was like, oh my God, I'm doing so good. I'm going to run a marathon. Got kicked off of Social Security. I got kicked off of disability. I never planned for a future, but let me try to figure this out real quick. So I'm like celebrating these joys while going through the anxiety-ridden like reality of, I got to figure myself out because I will be here, while also seeing my friends not making it and not benefiting from these drugs. So you have experienced that same thought as well and these similar feelings, right, since 2020. And you harnessed that to create the Filotimo Foundation, which is pretty badass. So it's fine. I mean,
we're trying.
The socks.
You get socks.
Got socks. No. Yeah, just so cool to see. When did you officially say, like, all right, how did you come up with the name? I know what it means, but can you explain the name and then how you fit it in to now become what it is? And tell us what you're doing.
So I like to tell Nicole, who's my other half at the foundation, I like to tell her that, like any bad decision, it started with Facebook and a credit card. So we, all of these like metaverses, per se, as you will, when I started reading into them and I was like, oh my God, this is brutal. What the hell are we gonna do?
Yeah.
I would then go to Facebook and I would see people worried and upset and how am I gonna pay my rent? And I would just go, and there was a woman, Lauren, and I said, hey, look, I sent her a direct message and I said, I will help you. Nobody needs to know about it. You send me what you need and I will take care of it. Just send me the bill. And then I helped her, and she then said, how can I repay this? I go, just go tell 2 people quietly, go tell 2 people if they need help to DM me. That's it. So then sure enough, 2 of her friends, one guy and one girl about 20-ish years old, they sent me a request, and it was $200 for one thing. It was $400 for the other. And they said, how can we repay you? I go, tell one person. Because at that point we're multiplying. I was terrified my credit card was gonna explode. So I said, just go help one person, or go tell one person, or go help one person. And it could be a hug when they're passing by. It really stemmed from that. And then in 2023, at the end of 23, I said, okay, well, maybe I'll try a nonprofit and see what happens. And I funded it on my own. I spent all of the time by myself trying to figure out how it would work, and I needed a name. And because we're Greek, my family is full of Greek immigrants, including my parents. Filotimo is a Greek word, and it means to help someone and expect nothing in return, which is what we were doing the last year of the foundation, right? So if somebody says, like, what does Filotimo feel like? My 8-year-old told me one time, I held the door open for someone, and the woman looked up at me and smiled, and I smiled back. She went through, and I closed, like, we went through. And he goes, was that Filotimo? And I go, the way she looked at me was.
Oh my
so
God.
It's that, I like that feeling of nothing has to be said. She was grateful. I was grateful that I had the opportunity to help in some small way. And it didn't cost any money. It was just like the feeling that you can help someone. Imagine walking in a clinic and you say to someone, hey, how are you? And just like a tap on the shoulder, maybe that's what they needed that day, and it's free.
Yeah.
So that's really the spirit of Filotimo. It's creating a community and a love for a person because they're human, and you never know what people are going through, but that's
100%. Yeah.
of Filotimo.
So is this around the time, 2023, when you started to be comfortable with sharing your...
No.
When did this happen?
Knew.
Tell me when you came out.
Yeah. It becomes part of you, right? It becomes part of you, and then you're like, nope. There's nothing that can happen right now for me to tell people. And then you become wildly insecure about it. I think there's still times now when I bring it up and I'm insecure about it. And I mean that.
What got you to the point where here you are now running Filotimo, but then also like saying, I have CF, this is what I went through. When were you comfortable to talk about it and share?
Once I realized that this thing was getting bigger than I ever thought it would, and I needed to like grab the reins again and just calm everything down, I realized I needed help. And in a lifetime of either asking for help and being let down, or especially towards the end of me not telling anybody, I would tell people very close to me, and it just did not go well. So I just felt even more insecure at that point. But whenever I would go see partners, or I would say to, I go to UNC's pulmonary clinic in North Carolina. Duke is right around the corner, so I would go to Duke and I'd be like, look, I have this foundation. I'm helping people that are adults with CF. And they'd say, well, what's the connection? I have a cousin. I have a friend who's very close to me. I have a personal connection. And it wasn't clicking. So I went to a fertility clinic in Raleigh, North Carolina, where my urologist was working. Like, he's a partner there, but he works at Atlantic Fertility. And I was talking to the executive team, and I said, look, I want to start providing potential resources for family building because I have 3 kids, and I think it's really important that someone has the option, whether it's adoption, surrogacy, IVF, and I don't care. If someone wants to have a family, we're going to try to provide it. And what does that look like? And they're like, I don't know, man. Like, what are you talking about? Well, 2 a year, 1 a year, what's the plan? And I said, I don't know, but I want to figure it out. And if you're willing to figure it out with me, I'll be here for the long haul. I need one partner. And it just was not clicking. And I'll never forget, the woman said, well, what is the connection though? And I go, here's the deal. Your urologist saved my future by giving me 3 kids. I have CF. I understand what it's like. I understand what it needs. And I think you can provide it. And they all their shoulders sunk a little bit. And they go, why didn't you say that? And of course, I'm so puckered up at this point. I'm sweating profusely. I want to start crying. I pinched my thigh so I didn't cry. And I just sat there and I was like, what are these people, they care? And that's when I realized, if I want this to work, I have to tell people, and I have to tell them now, or else this thing's dead.
How does it feel? Did it take a while for a weight to be lifted up your shoulders, or be like, what? I can now, what do you feel now after a year or 2 out? Or
I got to tell you, Emily, when someone says to me, how are you feeling? How's your CF? How are you? I get uncomfortable to this day. I think pivoting and deflecting it from me and saying stupid shit all the time, what do I matter? I'm one of 25,000. They're suffering. I'm not suffering. We need to help. That is a way for me to deflect the emotional, just me trying to figure out my own headspace.
And I know you doing it when you were talking to partners to finally make the connection of this is why and get them involved, but you do understand that the community seeing you as a leader and open and helping us is incredible and very important.
Yeah, it's been, I had during COVID and when the foundation started, I had a therapist for 2 years, and 2 years in, she said to me, well, are you upset because of your COPD?
Oh boy.
COPD? Who has COPD? She goes, you have COPD. I go, yeah. How did I get it? And she goes, you got it from the environment and work and just growing up and being around stuff. And I go, I cannot believe that my own therapist doesn't think I'm worth knowing that I have a chronic disease. That's what my brain went to. She was gone after that one. I just emailed her and I was like, bro, we gotta break up.
We out.
But,
Yep.
You become I'm married, so my wife, it's not fair to Annie that I put the burden on her because we have a family. So it's not, she became a therapist, which of course puts a burden on the relationship in general. So I didn't have that outlet and I was back to being square one and alone. But it wasn't until 2025 when I met Nicole, who became the other half of the foundation, when I really realized I'm getting the help I deserve.
You needed help.
Emotionally and with the foundation professionally. And that's when everything really changed. And I was like, wow, there is somebody that cares. That's been awesome.
Yeah, to find somebody like that on the business side of it. But again, the work that we do is business, but it's so much more than that, right?
Yeah.
The people you get to meet and work with and help, and with the infertility, which I guess if you could share a little bit of that, of your own journey, with Annie, did you guys decide right away once you found out, okay, this is what we're going to do? And how was that process of getting your 3 awesome kids?
So the second that the social worker said, you're infertile, I didn't know what to do. But the note I got from my doctor was, look, there's a guy, he's in Raleigh, North Carolina. Just go to him. He knows you're coming. I set you up the appointment. I texted him, just go there. He'll explain it to you. And I took Annie the next day and I go, I don't know what the hell's happening, but I may not be able to have kids from what I understand. I got to go talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Can you come with? And she said yes. And he just flat out, in a very nurturing way, he said, look, I can get you in. This is the situation. You have a absence of the vas deferens. So because of the CF that we have, anything with a tube that moves fluid from organ to organ, it gets clogged up, and your vas deferens, you don't really use it as a kid. So because of that, it doesn't develop. And he said, I can do a sperm retrieval. You can have kids. You just can't have them naturally, which is what the social worker said, but it just hit me differently. He goes, man, it's June. I can have you pregnant. If everything goes swimmingly, you can be pregnant as early as the middle of October. And it wasn't that quick, but, my part was done at that point. And unfortunately, everything else falls on the woman with the medications and the mental and physical burden of like trying to get this to work. But for the male side, it's a guaranteed fix for the most part. So,
wow.
That's really what I wish they would have said. And they've gotten so much better at telling both pediatric patients and adult patients, like, you still need to practice safe sex, but you're covered.
Tell us about your children, please. Your PTO dad, you're dropping them off at school, you're picking them up.
Yeah. I'm PTO dad. I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old, 2 boys and then a girl. My daughter and my oldest look like me. The middle one, I don't know where he came from. He looks like my wife's entire family. But I got 2 that look like me. They just act like my wife, thank God, and not like me, which is a neurotic Scorpio.
Thank God.
Thank God. Easy.
No. Oh, so you can also read lips. That's great.
So yeah, I mean, they're awesome, and they didn't know I had CF. And my mom, one day, I was in a local magazine, and it was like fighting to survive. It was something so aggressive. And my mom said, hey, you want to see a picture of you guys in the magazine? And she opened it, and it was just the kids. But then my 7-year-old at the time could read. And I go, Mom, grab it. She goes, grab what? What are you talking about? I go, get the magazine. He can read. And then, of course, that immediately sparked him to be like, what can I read? Of course I can read. What do I need to do?
Oh, God.
And
this child.
I had to have a real conversation with them, who a year before that, I had my first conversation with friends about it. So to have that conversation a year later with my kid who shouldn't have to worry about me is like, now I got to push through because I can't do the same thing my parents did and I did. Now I have to break it. And that's why it's hard.
Well, okay, so your oldest one must have been too young. So were you on like inhaled medications, nebulizers that you've since been able to peel back because of the modulator? And I guess they would have seen that when they were too young to remember, right? So they just didn't see that side of you.
The nebulizer wasn't hard because they had been sick at some point and they also had one, so that didn't matter. I got some advice from someone with CF, or no, my doctor actually. He said, you have kids now, what you should do is every morning everyone takes their medicine, so it becomes a family event. So they would take like a multivitamin gummy bear, and then I would take my pills, and everyone would feel like they're in it together. So that was cool. And to this day, that's what we do.
When you decided what to do with Filotimo, like it just took people coming to you with different needs?
You did it. Heck yeah.
Filotimo.
Filotimo, yeah.
Thank you.
If you do this,
I'm gonna get
it helps.
Filotimo.
Yeah.
Hey, so Flaca? I don't know.
Flaca? You know Flaca?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in Michigan.
I want that. Yeah, great town, baby.
Best casino in the Midwest.
Hey, Hollywood Casino. But was it just people coming to you being like, I need help with this, I need help with this? And then like, I'm a people pleaser, so if people came to me like, we can help you. Yep, we can do that. Are you just still open to whatever comes your way you're going to help with?
Yeah. So one of the things that we do is we're trying to humanize a request. So when someone reaches out to us and they're like, you can tell they're going through the gamut of foundations and they're just copy and pasting.
Yeah.
It's like,
I get that all the time.
Like, I have this chronic cough that is affecting me from working and all of this. Like, I will send an email back and say, cut the bullshit. I also have CF. Continue with what you need. I don't want to read this. And I'll say it a lot nicer most of the time, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
some people that'll lean into it, and I'm like, the poor, woe is me is not happening here. What is wrong? This happens a lot where somebody will say, like, if I can just get $200 for food, I can make it. And we won't say yes to that. What we will do is we'll say, why do you need money for food? Well, I got hospitalized. I didn't work because I'm working an hourly gig. I have a medical bill. I'm on a payment plan. I'm back at work. My utility bills are due. Again, I didn't get paid when I was gone, so I'm just trying to catch up. And the last thing to go is food. I just need to not worry about eating so I can do the rest. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. What I'll do is I'll send you half of what you asked for food, and then we'll help you with the utility bill and catch you up as fast as possible.
That's cool.
And that's been, I would say, the differentiator when we're trying to give support, where we say, you're not just going to ask for money. We need to know what's wrong so we can maybe fix the broken piece. Maybe spend a little more money than we have to, or that you asked for, but it's worth it, and you're worth it.
That's an incredible approach, because some foundations are just like, yep, sure, here you go, which is fine because it helps the person. All we want to do is help somebody. And then with the fertility, I just want to touch on that. How many families have you helped? How many people? How many babies? I know you have a baby count.
We have 10 babies.
Was it 10 babies?
10 babies. 2 adopted, one of them being Nicole Core. She is an incredible human being. Baby Levi is beautiful. And if anyone deserves help, it's her. I mean, she has
she's
been
awesome.
through it. We don't care what your plan is, who you're with, who your partner is. If you want to have a family, we're going to help you. If that means adoption, we will help you through the adoption process. If it is fertility, IVF, okay, let's talk about it. If it's surrogacy, while we can't afford the actual surrogacy program, if you have someone in your life, which is happening, we have 2 surrogates currently, but
wow.
if you have a surrogate in your life that's a cousin or a friend or a parent, in one of our cases, we'll help. We'll give the medications to the surrogate and help through the IVF process, because we know, like, we're not going to stop you from having a family because you've had a lung transplant.
All right. And then I guess, like, close it with on the topic of pregnancy and babies and new life. Can you kind of explain what you told me and Trevor one day? And I think I've seen a little bit, you talked about a little bit more about, like, curing CF, or what is your idea or approach, or kind of talk about that when you explain to us.
Sure. So the Filotimo Foundation believes, we have taken a huge stance that the CF Foundation is doing an incredible job at research, development, offering grant programs to those research programs and finding a cure. There's nothing we can do that's better than what they're doing. The most the Filotimo Foundation can do is support the patients that they send us to make sure that if they have a real life problem, we can help solve that problem for them, because CF Foundation is a resource center. They don't offer direct support through money or services, but they will connect us. So that's our contribution to really the CF Foundation itself, is to try to support them so then they can find a cure. If we can help people in their own purgatory of adulthood and be adults, while at the same time stopping the disease before it starts through this fertility, carrier testing, embryo testing, and really genetic testing in general, we can stop it before it ever decides it wants to start, and we can make sure that every baby born from today on that comes into the Filotimo program will be a healthy baby and free of CF. So we are trying this idea that we're not trying it, we're doing it. We are doing this idea that we will stop the disease before it starts, while this first generation of adults that never planned to be adults, like me and you, are going to make it into adulthood, while these programs that are built for children, these pediatric support systems, are catching up. So the way I see everything in this world, that could be health insurance, that could be massive foundations, they are a cruise ship with a small motor. It takes them forever to turn, but once they do, there's no stopping them. People like you and me are a speedboat with a big motor,
Yeah.
turns and pivots and spazzes left and right, and we can fix things as they are an immediate problem with an immediate need. So we'll take care of that piece for as long as we can. We do need resources. Obviously, you know that better than anybody. But with the resources we have, we're putting as much of a dent in it as possible. And maybe through conversations like the ones you and I are having, maybe there's another family out there that believes in the same thing. Needs change for adults with CF, especially if you're on a modulator and you're trying to make it off of disability. There's different needs. And if we can provide something for those people, it gives us a sense of feeling belonging, and this like we are CF strong idea and like poor me doesn't exist anymore. We're adults. We don't want you to feel sorry for us. We want you to help us get supported. But Jesus, I mean, how many times am I going to hear somebody be like, "Oh, like, no, get over it, grow up."
Like, no, aw.
Right?
One final thought from you is there anything you could go back in time and tell yourself, young Pete with CF, that might even translate as advice for people growing up with CF today?
You're going to be okay. And if you can just find one friend, that'll change everything. That's it.